Underworld Ministry, what is up? I couldn't wait any longer. It's been a whole month and a half since I've been here talking to you guys. I've missed you guys so much, I couldn't even wait. I know my buddy Henry Lee is about to talk about the updates of the jail. We've been doing this with Henry ever since we started this show. And these are the improvements. These are the plans. I can't wait. You know, this is a home away from home for me. So let's get our buddy Henry up and talk about my favorite jail. What's up, man?
What's going on, Mr. Terry? First of all, I'd like to thank you for having me as a guest again.
Oh, man. We love you guys.
Really big supporter of yours. I love the introduction to your show. Shows a lot of the jail, and
it does.
You know, when it comes to the jail, I'm certainly very passionate about that.
Oh, you know me, man. I absolutely love the Gilchrist jail, and you and Cheryl, you guys are family for sure. But
mutual.
I haven't been there since October, and I know you guys have been doing a lot to the jail.
Lots of changes, lots of things moving forward. In fact, I should hear something probably the next day or two about being able to pull my permits from the city. They had to, of course, have another commissioner meeting, but I'm pretty sure they had that on Monday, and they're going to have some kind of documentation that I can bring into Gene, the building inspector, and actually get the bathroom, the HVAC, and the electric done in phase 1.
That's awesome. So if nobody's ever seen the jail or your first time watching, this is what it was originally back in what, 1940s, 50s era?
That would be a picture from 1970, mid 70s.
Okay. And then this is pretty much what it looked like when you got it.
Right. Yeah, those are that was still after a lot of cleanup there, but not a lot of I hadn't done any work to it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way we got it. It was a lot more overgrown than that, but that was what we were working with back in the day.
So I've talked to you over the years now. I've seen all the photos, man. It's come together so much. I remember going to the jail for Fall Fest, and my creepy jail's gone. That's the only thing I could say. But the inside's still the original, so
that's my and Cheryl's biggest goal. The inside. If we do anything to the jail, it's only going to be replacing the iron beds, the actual toilets and sinks that were in there. Never be operational again, but you know, to have it like you're stepping back even further, more into 1928, which there's a lot still at the jail that it does feel like stepping back in time. But you know, I'd really like to get, like I said, all the beds, especially all the beds back in there. And even moving forward, we're not putting AC in there. It's going to be a totally immersive experience when you come to the tours, investigations. You're going to feel what they were feeling, which I think is a good thing because it's, like I said, totally immersive.
Oh yeah, we investigated that in August, and you're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's do it." Yeah, and it was like 100 degrees in there at like 2 a.m. still. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, there's
getting the jail in order, you're in the right steps. The people of Trenton basically told you to start cleaning up the jail. So you're starting to clean up the area a little bit.
Right. Several months ago, you know, we've been going through quite a bit with trying to get the proper zoning and all to be able to open this jail up for everyone to be able to visit.
Yeah.
Reached a stalemate a couple of years back, and I just totally stopped doing anything to it because why keep dumping my retirement money into a place that I could never open? Like I said, several months ago, I was at a meeting and Mayor Robbie said, "Hey, can you do this, this, and this?" And it all came after we got our the historical papers in line and got it recognized here in Florida and in the National Archives of the United States. I
Yeah.
think the commissioners really seen that there could be something different, so much better going on with that piece of property historically versus the 20 years of no real upkeep, no just paranormal tours, no historical artifacts like we're putting in there. And I just wanted to give the city something they could be proud of instead of, a place where riffraff would hang out and drug
Right.
deals and broken windows. So I think Cheryl and I have I definitely know we achieved on changing the minds and hearts of, because let's face it, Trenton's got 2,000 people in it. And most of those families have been there for generations that are still
Yeah.
there today,
Yeah.
still commissioners. So, they're very much entwined in the past of it, when Arlene had it, the past when it was sheriffs. There weren't many rules back in the day how prisoners should be handled. And, in my mind, the way I think, if you're in prison or in jail, it shouldn't be a daycare center or a spa. You're there to do your time or because you did something wrong,
Right.
innocent until proven guilty. But, at the end of the day, you're not going to the Hilton, the Hyatt or something. But it's a good opportunity for people to see when they think, oh, things are so bad now. And I'm sure in some places and in some circumstances, inmates are treated inhumane. But when you really look back at the way the early 1900 correctional facilities were, like Alcatraz, like the Gilchrist, like a lot of these places, it is worlds different with as far as the treatment of prisoners.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the one thing that I always blew my mind is the warden would leave at 6 p.m. and not come back till 6 a.m. Like
Yeah,
that's
it,
just blows my mind.
it blew my mind too when we first bought it in Cheryl's. And that's why they ended up building that sheriff house. Good
Yeah.
F1, good little tidbit information. So many deaths were happening at that county jail that finally Florida legislators said enough's enough in the mid '60s, and that's when they built the sheriff house back there to give 24-hour supervision of the inmates. But little fun fact I found out not too long ago is even after they built that little sheriff house, closed down several months later, the warden still didn't live there, Chris. I found out that none of the sheriffs or wardens, so I've been told, no one
Wow.
ever lived there because they closed it down shortly after. So that
Yeah.
building of the sheriff house was more or less a waste of time until later on when it went back to the city and people actually lived there. That
Yeah.
picture you showed from '78, that's before they put the elevated roof on. Yeah, that would be before it went back to the private sector. As you can see, the sheriff house is a flat roof, which
Yeah.
is visible now for the tours. But after it went back to the private sector, they put that slanted roof on. And I hear stories where they had some of the family living there at that sheriff house, and then I've talked to kids. They said, oh, 30 years ago, they were actually their bedroom was cell 3, cell 4, cell 8.
Wow.
We've had the place since 2021, and I've never slept in the jail before.
I
I
want to. I volunteer. I volunteer. I'm putting this live out in the universe right now. I want
well,
to. Uh-huh.
honestly, these days it wouldn't be that big a deal. But that first year with the spiders
Yeah.
and rats and raccoons and
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't catch me dead in that jail when you first got it alone
Oh,
at night. No, no, no. I'm a big dude and I can protect myself, but no.
not from the creepy crawlies. Yeah, especially
Yeah,
you go to
yeah,
sleep and you wake up and have a rat chewing off one of your toes. You know.
right. No, I'm good.
No.
But this is
Go
through.
ahead.
So before the Fall Fest, you're getting the jail ready, and it just looks amazing now. Like the way that the white and black and the black in the windows, I love it. It takes my creepy jail away, but it looks great compared to what it was. You know?
Yeah. If you go back to the front view again, where you see the front door, phase two is going to be now. If you look back at the pictures from '78, it has that front facade with the arches.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be phase two. We're going to actually put that facade back on the front to make it, like
Oh
I
wow.
said, the only changes we're going to make to the jail is only bringing it back to its former glory.
Yeah. You're gonna build it exactly the same way, or
I might go all masonry. I don't know how. I think they probably made it out of wood, but I'm going to go all block masonry. As you can see, the three arches there,
yeah,
a little flat roof. Probably have a little pitched roof right there coming to the front on some gutters, but that's going to be all
yeah,
masonry up front. Like I said, to restore it to its former glory. And you can
that's
see where it used to be in
yeah,
that big rectangle there above the door and the window.
yeah, that's awesome. And I know this is from Fall Fest. I can see my table, but I don't know who took this picture, but it's amazing.
Definitely a good picture of the jail. Really liking it. We love doing those fall fests, especially with casts of Naked and Afraid to come out to show support. That's really exciting. I love to see the smile it brings to my wife's face because she's the real super fan. I mean, I watch the show. I dig hanging out with these survivalists, but it comes down to it. Yeah, this was Cheryl, one of the Cheryl's doings, more or less, because if it wasn't for her extreme interest, we would have never went on the cruise. I
Yeah,
would have never did my Beetlejuice on the cruise. I
yeah,
wouldn't have talked to them about the jail. And little did we know. And I kind of told Cheryl before we went on the cruise that no, we have something that's different. They meet a lot of people, but when you tell somebody you own a museum or you own a nationally recognized on the archives, it
28.
catches people's
Yeah.
attention. It really
Oh,
does. And
that's awesome. And I know you've done music videos in it so far. You've done a lot of stuff. Sam and Kobe's been there. I mean,
that's here's a funny story too, in case any of your listeners watch Sam and Colby, follow Sam and Colby. I had this young man call me up. I thought he was out of Gainesville. Very nice young man, Sam. Um, he's like, "Hey, you mind if we come out? We'll give you a donation to come out. We want to do some content." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great." Went, met Sam. We talked, and then I met Colby later on in the evening. Got home later on that evening. Told my son James and Cody, "Hey, yeah, I was just there with Sam and Colby," and they're like, "The Sam and Colby," and I'm like, "Well, I don't
yeah,
know about the Sam and Colby." But yeah,
that's
they showed
exactly
me a
what I
picture of
did
them.
too.
I had no clue who they were.
Man,
Just like me talking to you right now, I'm sure there's a lot of their fans out there. They've got, what, 17 million followers that
hell yeah.
wish they could have been sitting where I was with Sam and Colby, and I
For,
didn't even know any better.
oh yeah, I know. You sent me a well, no, you didn't send me a picture. You sent me a text saying that it was Sam and Kobe, and I'm like, it's exactly the same thing. I was like, like
Yeah.
the YouTuber Sam and wow, that's awesome.
It's almost been a year since it's been, they've been there. They didn't release it until several weeks later, but they came last February, and it's actually over 9 million views now.
That's crazy.
I find that very humbling because I know his followers are there to watch them and not
Yeah.
me. But at the end of the day, they interview me in the front end of it, and it's very exciting to know that 9 million people, 9 million views have seen Henry Lee talk about the old Gilchrist County Jail. I find that very flattering per se.
I
I'm
think
proud of
it's
it.
cool. I think
Yeah,
it's cool while he's doing his little history video. There's an Underworld Ministry sticker on this window behind him.
yeah, yeah. That's
And like, I've investigated that jail so many times now. Like, him standing at the top of the stairs telling him to push him. I'm like, just no, don't. This is not the jail to do that, dude.
you
Like,
make
I'm
you like
just, I'm just
like
screaming
that.
at him the whole time I watched it. I'm like, oh man, the jail's gonna fuck you up.
What made me laugh, Chris, was the spiritual activity in the jail.
Oh
When
yeah,
he was on the spirit box and Sam was coming up, and he's like, "Oh, you know who I am?" I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching it because I was outside.
Other Sam.
Yeah, it was Sam
Yeah,
Colton.
yeah,
So it was kind of funny that he didn't even realize how much activity he was really
oh,
getting.
yeah. He got a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, I know the activity that I've gotten in that jail, and it's some of it's just completely blown my mind. How do I get cat balls going off in 4 all the way to 8, and then it would stop, and then it would go from 8 to 4 with Patrick
let me,
standing
let me,
right there.
let me tell you what happened to Patrick and I just the other day. And I've got no reason to lie. I'll let the
Yeah,
years of paranormal investigators long before I own the place.
yeah,
I don't have to make up stories for the jail, as you know. But Patrick and I were in there Tuesday, um, waiting on Ron to come. Um, I hook up a heater right there where Casper's brain is to kind of warm that cold
yeah,
area up for Ron before he gets there. Heater
yeah,
been running for about 30 minutes. It made little click sounds and this and that. But it stopped making noise, and Patrick and I are just talking. Then we heard like a thump from upstairs, which caught both of our attention. And you can ask Patrick the next time you see him, because it blew both our minds. Because again, I shrug my shoulders and go "Pfft," on some of the stuff you see on different paranormal shows.
yeah.
But then what happened next? What happened next, Chris, blew my mind. Like 13 seconds later, after that, they got our attention. We heard, "Whoa." And when you hear these paranormal shows saying, when they get audibles like that, it sounds unearthly. Dude, it was the most. I'm getting chills telling you about it. Of course, there was nothing running but Casper, and I'm not
Wow.
so hyped up on want to dig through the archives. I could ask Ron, hey, this time and this and that. Some of the experiences I'm getting are just meant for myself. I'm not
Yeah.
doing this to be famous. I'm not doing this to be Zach Baggins or Sam and Colby. I
Oh,
enjoy owning the place, and you know what? I don't have to catch every little. I used to bother me when I would be in there and something would happen. I'd be like, damn it, of course the camera's not running. But I can
yeah.
honestly say, even though I had cameras running and could pull it up, that experience that Patrick and I had, the when we heard it, we both looked at each other and I'm like, what in the actual flying F was that?
I've never heard anything audible in that jail like that.
I have. I've heard the whistle. I've heard my whistle before, but it's far and few between. But
You
the
do
whole
have
phantom, yeah.
you do have a mimic in there, 100%.
Yeah, we figured that out. There's one of the episodes from the Gilchrist with the G team with Patty Adams that they caught the whistle, and I was there. You could say whatever you want about certain paranormal teams, but there's no way they could have captured my whistle without background noise because I was whistling that same song earlier in the day when I caught a rosy boa. And the
Yeah.
girls were all screaming because, I'm holding it by the tail and they're, this and that. Like I said, about 40 minutes later, I'm coming back from the RV. It was wintertime. That's probably why the snake was in the jail, probably for warmth. And I heard my whistle and I'm like, who tape recorded my whistle? And I counted for everybody there. And Patty's like, "That's not you whistling." I'm like, "I can't whistle and talk at the same time." So, I
True.
did, but that the audible without the spirit box, it doesn't happen a lot. But yeah, the other day it did, and it was it blew my mind. It really did.
I have a whole new goal for that jail now.
I wouldn't lie to you. There's no
Oh,
reason. There's no,
sure. No, I know you. That's
yeah.
We've known each other for almost 4 years now. I would never, you know.
I'm the biggest debunker out there. I will do anything. But to that moan we heard from upstairs, I couldn't debunk that. I'm like, I'll be damned. I know what that was.
Yeah. Well, I remember when we were investigating it and Patrick was watching on the cameras in the common room, and I was doing my little solo upstairs, and I came back down to be with Sarah and my buddy David, and I was in the museum area, and Patrick came in there swearing up in God, up and down, freaking that I was still upstairs because he's watching somebody go from cell to cell into 4, and something peeked out of 4, and then he watched them go down the stairs while I was in the museum the whole time for like 5 minutes, and through the portal right here. And I was like, at least unless there's a mimic here, and literally, I didn't even get to say that full sentence. And on the spirit box, it says, "Yes, we are." I was like, well, that proves it to me.
Yeah. Like I said, and you got to realize that every day is not going to be like that. Some days I go in there, it's just an old building. But when
Yeah,
you start messing around with the tools or just
yeah.
catch it on the right day, like with that moan, it's like the more time you put in a place like that, which I don't know if I'm blessed or we're cursed to have a place like that to see all this stuff. It's a
I mean,
double-edged sword.
here or there, it's just which one do you like more?
I get exhilarated. I
Yeah,
don't get scared. I'm glad nothing in there has. No, there's been a night or two where things have went on, and you know what experience I'm talking about that we don't
yes,
talk about it.
yes, I
But
do.
yeah, there's another thing I used to scoff at. Like, yeah, sure, you were on autopilot. Sure, you were commandeered. That's
No,
like
I saw that whole experience with my own eyes. We're not going to get into that at all.
no,
But
no, something's
that was an experience. Let's just say that.
something you don't see every day.
No, for sure.
No. But yeah,
And
it seems like I said, when I scoff at something, it happens.
yeah, for sure. So speaking of cameras, watching cameras, have you played around with the Casper, or did you get?
Yes,
I know the videos are a lot more clear than they were before.
that is correct. Like I was just saying, because Tuesday, Ron, we were warming the place up for Ron. He brought a new. I don't know. I'm not the tech guy, but he brought something that I wish we had pictures to show how it looked before and now. But as you can see, the clarity is like when you walk into a 7-Eleven now.
Now,
Um, it's where it needs to be for virtual ghost hunting, which is coming up. Totally, it's going to be a totally immersive experience, or you could be at your house and you'll have that at your house 24/7. But the
yeah,
good thing about it is, all our subscribers will be able to interact with each other. You could be typing something. Hey, did you just see what went on in 5? And then from the system at your house, all the people that are following and writing, they say, "Oh, well, let me rewind. Let me blow the picture up." It's going to give the viewers at home, like I said, a totally immersive experience as well.
no, I know when we were there for Fall Fest, it was myself, Ryan and Allie from out of the OOP, out of the Ordinary Paranormal, and then Trey was there from Naked and Afraid. And we got this whole situation. I wanted to show this, and I have a video that I wanted to show you also that goes with this. So we're standing in cell 6, and Takani, Ryan's husky, it's the first paranormal dog that I've ever seen. I've never seen anything more comfortable in that jail at all. Other than that dog just lays on the ground and just fucking.
I've only got one of my healers that'll actually go in there and focus in on stuff. Billabong's kind of oblivious. Didgeridoo will not go in the jail, and I've seen many dogs that will be in full run. They hit the sheriff house and throw on the brakes and they're picking up on something. But it like people, it takes a special dog to be able to comprehend what's going on and kind of hit on those targets.
Yeah. I mean, I'm about to show you this video from 6, but I know from us moving from cell 6 to cell 8, we had to kind of convince Takani to go into cell 8. He didn't want to go into cell 8, and he was very not happy that he was in there.
I know people that don't want to go into cell 8.
I know people too that don't want to go. Nobody wants to go into cell 8 but me. But I want to show you this video real quick. This is me, Ryan, Allie, and Trey in cell 6.
You were 40 pounds. You're not even that many calories. Can you make that go off if you like the dog? Mm-hmm. Yep. Are you petting him right now? He's on his belly. You love the belly rub. You love a good belly rub. The pattern of that almost looks like this. He is a beautiful boy, isn't he? I feel it. I feel it. Yeah. Oh, that shit was clear as shit. Holy shit. That was clear as shit. Your cat ball. Oh, cat ball. Cat ball. Cat ball behind you. Really?
Yeah, when stuff happens like that, like I like when you got those paranormal tools and they're sitting there like scientifically there's a baseline, nothing's happening. So nothing in the room has changed, obviously. It's not somebody's phone or something that's making these things go off. And then they do start going off. I do, as you know, I try to bring a scientific baseline into my particular investigations. So I said, there's nights where it's kind of slow, but there's nights like that night, lots of different energies at the jail, and all of a sudden you start getting some amazing stuff.
Especially during the Fall Fest. You have all those people going through all day long for the tours. You know, it's got music. I had stuff going along outside, you know, all that energy. And I mean, the past two times Fall Fest that I've done, that jail has gone crazy after that sun go down.
Well, think about it. If you're all home alone for a couple weeks and you have some people stop by, you know, the energy in the room changes. You're talking about stories and all. The spirits are us, just on our energy form. They're going to crave the things that they craved when they were alive. So that makes good sense to me that happens. I mean, it really does.
It stimulates them. It gets them
going. It really does.
Yeah,
especially when you're having fun with it. It's not so serious or provoking or antagonizing. You're just doing your thing, talking with friends, having some equipment around. Well, you know as well as I do, we've sat in that gathering room, not investigating, start talking about stuff, and the gathering room goes crazy.
Yeah. That's one area that you do get stuff for sure.
It's because they could travel obviously through the cells and throughout the property. Because not we know darn well nothing really happened in that sheriff house
No.
per se. I mean, things happened before it was built, obviously. We won't get into that this evening, but there's things we've been told. We heard about the story of the young boy and girl that ended up freezing on one particular cold night. They got separated from their family and got into those woods. I don't want to say it was necessarily right where the jail sits, but somewhere in that area. We've had Board of Investigations where there was actually a baby crying they caught on an EVP, which you know how the history is of the jail. It all burned up. So who knows if any women actually gave birth, why they were serving time at the Gilchrist. These are things that we may never know.
Yeah. So you have a new object in the jail that I got to see during the Fall Fest. Donated. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Definitely was stoked to get this. It was given to a scrapper in Trenton, and he had it for several years sitting over at the old bus depot or the school bus depot, sitting in the woods. And the story behind this, and it really ties in with the jail so well, is that was the actual cage that was at the Farmer Merchants Bank right there across from Bubba Q's.
Yeah.
There was the original bank there was called Farmers and Merchants.
Nice.
That was the cage that was around the safe at that jail. And in 1928, a man called Sam Colby robbed that particular bank. And he was taken into custody and held at the Gilchrist for that crime. And to have that cage go back to the Gilchrist with tying in with Sam was pretty exciting, to say the least. That cage is actually older than the jail itself. So we were blessed to have that donated. And that's the way I'm going to get real artifacts from Gilchrist, is actually those generational families that we talk about, them actually donating these items to the jail. I can go across the country and buy time period handcuffs and things like that. But that cage, I'll be surprised if anyone donates something that holds a candle to that cage. That is the proudest donation that we have gotten there at that jail.
So far.
Yeah. It'd be hard pressed to find something that's tied into Gilchrist and tied into that jail at that magnitude.
So before we get into the pictures of the renovations you guys have been doing, have you gotten any activity off of that cage and heightened anything in the jail since you brought it in?
That's a question you'll have to ask later. I in my heart feel that it is amping up, especially Sam, and his whole thing with robbing the bank, going to that jail. I guess I could share this story with you, but so the old man that the scrapper got that cage from was telling the story of Sam Colton. That's how I know he was at the jail. They had sent him off to, I believe, Bradford County over there. I forget the name of the jail. But one of the sheriffs decided to bring him back because it would have been Sheriff Field that would have arrested Sam Colton at first. I don't know if Mr. Fields was still there, but they brought Sam back to the jail because they wanted to more or less interrogate him on where his sister went, because his sister worked at Farmers and Merchants, but the next day she didn't show up back to work. And they brought Sam back to the jail. And this is just one person's story. I have no way to verify this. But Sam supposedly went back to the jail and he lost his life at the jail.
Wow.
On that particular night. So with that said, I won't get into more on that, but that's one of the people that lost their lives at the jail. So his spirit still dwelling there doesn't surprise me, with that said.
Well, I know within my investigations. We have a Sam, we have a James. We're not going to get into the whole what happened there, but I know I've communicated with James multiple times. I know James doesn't like Patrick. I know nobody likes Patrick in that jail. I have a video.
There's days where Patrick irritates the crap out of me. No, I'm kidding, Patrick, if you're watching. But no, he used to be a correctional officer. Well, keep in mind, Patrick got involved with the jail early 2000s with Arlene Hale while he was still working for the police department. Then when he retired, he was so overtaken by the activities he'd seen at that jail as a police officer during the whole Willie J thing that he joined their group. And that's why you see Patrick is such a asset to have, because he's been investigating that jail for over 20 years now.
He's definitely a dominant figure in that jail for sure.
Yeah. They know him intimately. I've only been there for almost 5 years. March will be 5 years. But imagine someone who's been there now 22 years, 23 years. He's got an intimate relationship, and that's one thing I'll say to your watchers, if you're paranormal investigators. If you have a place that's near your home, that's reasonably affordable, you want to do that location several times, because it's like, when you and I first hung out, you didn't know me, I didn't know you, but over the years, we've hung out quite a bit now. We've become close friends. Yeah. Same thing with spirits. They're going to trust you more. Look, we got David Alcorn. He's another big supporter of the jail. In fact, a funny story about David Alcorn is his first time was early in probably 2021. He was there with Citrus Paranormal with Andrew Janicki. And he'd been there a couple of times, and he came there alone one time, and he's like, I got to be honest with you, Henry. I don't get a lot of activity at this jail. And I go, oh, no, really? And I kind of, as a joke, I said to the spirits, I'm like, well, Mr. Alcorn doesn't really think there's anything going on here. And ever since then, it's like they know him enough now to where, you don't think we're here, huh? And he has had some amazing footage come out of that jail as well.
So I don't know if you've seen this video or not. I know I showed it the last time we had Patrick and David on. I think I showed it after you had already left. But this proves that they don't like Patrick.
These cells. This one's still open and it's going off. Can you light one of these cells off, the cat balls off in these cells, and I'll open your cell door again? Can you make one of these cat balls go off if you didn't like the warden in this jail? Can you make one of these cat balls go off if you don't like Patrick in this jail? Do you want me to leave? What's going on? Alright, I'm a man of my word. Believe it or not.
Yeah. I mean, did you light the warden? Nothing. Do you want me to open the cell? Nothing. Do you want Patrick to leave? Oof, it lit up.
Yeah. He definitely has a unique relationship with those spirits. He, like I said, but they've known him for over 20 years. So thank you, Shadow.
So let's get into all the new renovations and everything. You doing all this stuff, you fixing the jail, you painting, you fixing the bathroom, you fixing rooms. Have you guys got any activity while you guys are working here? Is it?
Yeah, back to the story on Tuesday. I don't know if I was telling you before the show or during, but Tuesday we actually, Patrick and I were at the jail, and we heard a thump from upstairs, which caught our attention. We were standing right there at the pony door in the communications area where that main stringer table is. And we heard a, oh. Now, I've shook my head and scoffed at some of these paranormal shows where they get something like that. And they said it sounds so unearthly. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it does. Just kind of scoffed at it. But on Tuesday, it really did sound like something that was not from this.
That's so crazy.
So yes, definitely there's ramped up activity going on.
No, I know me investigating there, having to walk to the train station to go use the restroom. I can't wait for this bathroom to go in.
You and me both. I've watered that banana tree more times than I can tell you.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I don't know how they're not mutated out by now.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. That's top on the list. As soon as I get the okay, I'm going to call the plumbers and have them come out. Albeit it's a museum, I'm not having a hot water tank at all. I'm going to have the toilet, and I'm going to have the sinks. I'll decide which sink and have cold water only. But yeah, it's going to be a handicap compliant toilet area. No, the tile obviously isn't from a period, but the jailhouse, I just wanted to make it more museum-like in there, a comfortable place for our people with disabilities and our visitors to have a place to actually use the bathroom. And, there's something to be said long after I'm gone, knowing that I put all this time and effort into saving a piece of Gilchrist history is definitely there's something to be said for that. I will bring up, I'd like to take a moment to give a shout out to Rhonda Fuchs of the Sicilian Sisters. She passed away in December, and I was able to talk with her, and she's very much into the paranormal. And I actually set up, and wish I had a pair of dowsing rods with me, but they're to jail. Why she was alive, we came up with, and I've tried this at the jail the last time I was there. We set up to where, okay, if it's you, I'm going to ask the question, Rana, if you're here, please do what we said while you were alive. And what we set up was the right dowsing rod swinging around and touching my right arm and tapping it twice and then swinging back. The other day I said, Rana, if you're here, can you please do what we said while you were still alive? And within seconds, that dowsing rod whipped around, tapped my arm twice, and came back to full attention. And it was, I wish I was able to film when we were setting up the parameters, but by the time I went to visit her, she was already seeing spirits. She was in and out. She gave me a couple winks and this and that, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
She was not coherent enough, but
Right.
we had set it up. Cheryl was sitting there and we set it up. And yeah, it was overwhelming. So FYI, there's a new spirit at the jail that hangs out at the jail named Rana.
Hell yeah. I can't
Yeah.
wait to talk to her.
Yeah, really cool paranormal investigator. Wants actually her ashes to be put at the jail. I don't have them yet, but they'll go in with my father in that box I have.
Wow.
So
You should make a whole memorial thing with her actions and everything.
we've got on the wall where she signed, and I have her death date on the wall. But yeah, probably will. She's going to be donating. Her husband's going to be donating some of her tools of the paranormal for some of our visitors to use that she used many, many years doing her own investigations, which I'm, again, flattered by this person loving the jail, Rhonda loving the jail so much that she actually wants to spend time in the afterlife there.
I'd sign me up.
Yeah.
I already said it's home away from home, man. I'll chill in that jail with everybody.
It's another thing that makes me wonder just how much control we have over our energy forms after we pass away. but
Yeah.
it kind of reaffirms, there's like paranormal investigating there, kind of like what Houdini and his wife set up, but we set it up with dowsing rods, which she's a fan of dowsing rods as well. And I can't write that off as a coincidence to where I don't even ask the dowsing rods to cross if you're here or this or that. When it's gonna, hey, what we set up before you died and it does that, who else would know that?
Right.
So
Yeah.
definitely I'm running across things that are getting harder and harder to explain, especially that the dowsing rods, as you know, are my favorite tool. I showed a couple of young men how to use them the other day and put a set of a borrow set, not my set, but a borrow set. And for them to see the questions answering, because when you see it or I see it, or someone that doesn't know see dowsing rods, they're thinking, oh, it's the way they're leaning or they're twisting it somehow. When you put a set of dowsing rods in someone's hands that don't know really, and it's not a point of how to use them, it's just to use them. For those questions to be answered, and darn well, you're not doing anything to make these rods do that. And to this day,
I got my rods right. Yeah.
A great tool, especially as you're sitting there asking questions while you got your other tools going on when they all start kind of interacting as one. I trust the dowsing rods more than K2s, more than REM pods, more than millimeters, because there could be something. That's why you set up a scientific base at first. If it's not going off at the start of your investigation, you start asking questions. As it goes off, my scientific mind still wants to say, well, is it picking up on internet signals that are outside the jail or something like that? But even that's hard to. I mean, when you're asking questions and they go off, it's pretty soon you're just going to have to chalk it up to these are not coincidences. This is actual paranormal activity happening.
I mean, like that time that I did the Estes method and the Delco goggles, like nobody was down that hallway by cell 8, and that REM pod was going off multiple times.
And those REM pods, unless the batteries are going dead, they'll either sit there and do nothing or go crazy. And if your batteries are fresh and it's going crazy, that's not an easy tool to manipulate unless you're right on top of it. Your phone's not going to manipulate it. Different waves aren't going to manipulate it. It's some kind of energy force getting close to it. And that's the millimeter too is a tough nut to crack. It'll sit there on zero, investigation after investigation. But you catch the right night, and I've seen that thing overload itself and shut off.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
I can't wait. I figured I'd show this while we're live. Speaking of REM pods, tell me that's not a best trigger object it bring to this jail. Tell me.
I like it. I like it.
Cigarette pack to a jail and make it a REM pod. I mean, I can't wait to use this at the jail.
Well, you're supposed to come up and do some volunteer work in February. Hopefully you can still make that and you can bring that up.
I know. Hopefully.
We'll see.
I'm trying to get it off.
You're a young man. You know what? You'll be investigating that jail long after I'm gone. So,
you know I will too.
But then you'll get to talk to Henry Lee, the spiritual Henry Lee, which will probably be the same jokester. I'll probably fuck with each and every one of you somehow. I'm gonna definitely rise up. If I could get there like Rana did, I'm definitely gonna make my presence known. Unless Robert says, "Sorry, Henry, you can't stay here." I said, "Well, I'll be in Puerto Rico or Jamaica. If you need me, give me a call. I'll come back." Which in quantum mechanics, I can instantaneously be in both places at once. The way I understand quantum mechanics, so which I am a full believer that once we figure out the mathematics of quantum mechanics and the way the energy actually works and the things it can do, is going to open up a lot of more doors in the paranormal world to where maybe it won't be seen as a pseudoscience. Maybe at that point it'll be taken seriously, the work that we do. It won't be so much recognized as pseudoscience or make-believe or, manipulation. It'll actually have a scientific mathematical equation to to explain these things.
Yeah. I don't know how some of this happens in that jail. Some stuff I'm like, all right, that could be that, But I've seen some shit in that jail now that I'm like,
I've seen a good example. We had War Party Paranormal in. We had Kiki from Univision from
oh yeah,
Cuba come up. I'm actually seen a poltergeist activity. Little espresso cup was launched across the room. Her husband was filming. He started shaking uncontrollably because you could feel it in the room too. And I look over at one of the members from War Party, and I said, "I thought you said he does this before." He's like, "Yeah, but not at a place like this." So it just depends. Yeah, it just depends. Some nights, like I said, some nights, EVPs are always usually pretty good, but there's special nights where everything lines up, kind of like life. What's David say? One of the top activity locations I've ever more activity than May Stringer.
I
I
don't
think
know about that
to
one.
answer that question, Mr. Alcorn, May Stringer is booked up for years. They have a lot of people coming in and out. It's like if you're working overtime. You get tired. Spirits get tired as well. They've got a lot of visitors. A lot of people go there. I've had great nights at May Stringer too, David Alcorn. Seen doors open up on their own. The kitchen, in my opinion, is the best place to investigate at May Stringer. Leave the rest of the house alone.
I know when me and Sarah investigated the May Stringer house, we put a regular mag light on the little desk area and the doctor's office and put the flashlight there and then stood in the hallway. That's what, good 5 feet from the room to the hallway, right by the military room, and had a full conversation with the doctor with the flashlight. We've had a portal walking out of the May Stringer house, and it says "Good night."
We actually have one of the doctor tables from the May Stringer house that's at the Gilchrist.
That's awesome.
Right there by the switchboard.
I got a brick from the May Stringer house.
Nice. We have a brick. We have a brick at the May Stringer house.
Yeah, I know. I want to do one of the ones on the ground.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's a good way to support that museum. It's only $50 for a lifetime advertisement. You should get your Underworld Ministry, get it on a brick. A lot of paranormal investigators go in there. It's really cheap advertisement, and you're showing that you support a very good thing that they're doing out there, saving history of the May Stringer house. So big fan. Cheryl and I are big fans of the Stringer house.
You should do, Henry, you should do your own path from the main walkway to the sheriff's house, the sheriff's door right there to the right. You should do a whole brick like that all the way to that'd be cool.
Could in the future, we'll see as we move on, as far as what funds are generated in the interest. But yeah, it's something that we'd be interested in doing. Even a planter, if we can't get a whole sidewalk, but bricks and a planter for contributors. You make a donation. Even donations. If I don't do the bricks, pictures of the donators and the what they donated could be hung on the walls. We have a lot of special things that we're thinking of to include our contributors, to let people know, hey, this person has went above and beyond supporting this location and its historical significance.
Yeah, for sure. Now, as many times as I've investigated it, I've always been focused on the jail part, which you have another object out front that I have never sat in, and I don't know why I haven't. I've never investigated that car.
And you should. I've investigated. Cheryl's investigated. We first got it. Cheryl and I instinctively got in the back, not the front, which should tell you something. But yeah, Cheryl had asked a question. Has anybody that been in this car? Have you been arrested? And it was we got a laugh on a spirit box, and the K2 started going crazy. Which Cheryl kind of laughed and said, "Yeah, well, that's kind of a obvious question." Yeah,
Yeah.
it is definitely a haunted object.
And I don't know why I've never been. I've always been so focused on the jail. I don't.
Well,
Do you want to explain the story of that car real quick?
yeah, sure. When we bought the jail, even before we knew it was going to be a museum, before we knew, we were interested in getting artifacts, jail related, for the ambiance of them. So we were shopping where all that teak furniture came from, was Sarasota Salvage. Had asked them, well, if you ever run into any police cars at all. And he turned me on to this guy that had this car. We went and looked at it. Yes, the story was it was a in service 1947 up in the Bronx. The bullet holes in those windows were actually shots fired into the car that killed 2 deputies in the line of service in the Bronx. The car ended up making it down to Florida, and as you can tell by the louvered hood, they used it for some lower class racing, but they always thought the story behind the window, they never got rid of it, never to put a window on the other side. That other window was blown out during the assassination. So once Cheryl and I heard the story, we had it painted. We had the old seized engine pulled out. Pretty much the only thing we did to it was paint it and put the Gilchrist star on it. Everything else is original from the day we bought it. The siren works. The light itself works. I just got to charge the battery. This is one of the first historical. Huh?
I didn't know any of that worked. That's cool.
Yeah. It was one of our first artifacts that we put into jail, and very early in to us buying the jail was already going in the direction of being a museum, kind of like the May Stringer House. Not that I'll ever have anything like the May Stringer House or Clay County Jailhouse going, but just saving the history of that little town of 2,000 people today. As of right now, Trenton has 2,000 people in it. And it's funny, we were at dinner at the Texas Roadhouse, ran into this English guy that actually has only been in America for about 1.5 years. Actually lived in Trenton, actually knew about the jail. And he said he'd seen some YouTube videos on it. Cheryl said Sam and Colby. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yes, Sam and Colby were at the jail. He recognized us and knew the jail. So it was kind of neat to be recognized in public by a total stranger. It was really cool. And that's, I may not agree with the way Sam and Colby, their investigations, but at the end of the day, I can't argue with their success. I congratulate their success. They get to do what I'd love to be able to do, just go around going to these places, getting a war chest to afford to go to these places. My hat's off to them. Like I said, that one episode of the 3 most haunted jails in Florida, if you look it up, the Gilchrist, it has 9 million views to date.
I know. I'm so happy that Florida got recognized for these jails too.
That just it really blows my mind to be part of that. I know those 9 million viewers surely didn't tune in to see Henry Lee, but they tuned in to see Sam and Kobe at the jail. Someone like Brittany Lake, she didn't know anything about the jail really until she seen it on Sam and Kobe, and that's a fan there of Sam and Kobe. That Brittany Lake that we met, yeah, she.
A fan of Underworld now because I got to be. I mean, I don't want to say like the main attraction. I guess I kind of were because I was right there when everybody walked out at Fall Fest. I was the paranormal investigator that was there,
Right, your story. That's why you were so close to it, because you have an intimate relationship with the jail. So
yeah. And she, even after the Fall Fest, she gave Underworld a shout out that she's never actually seen all the paranormal equipment and it's never really met an actual paranormal investigator. which I mean, I'll take the prize all day. I appreciate it, Brittany.
Yeah, when she came and visited, she sat where Sam had sat, where we did the interview, and it was kind of refreshing to see how giddy she was because, like I said before earlier in the interview, I didn't know who the hell they were. I just thought they were just,
Yeah, I know.
which they are regular people, but
You text me and you're like, oh yeah, these kids are coming. I don't know who they are or what they were, and you're like Sam and Kobe. I'm like, oh, that's all right. That's cool.
my kids were mad. They're like, any other time you want to take us, but you don't even tell us if Sam and Colby come. I'm like, who the F is Sam and Colby? And then they showed me, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah,
And like I said, I was sitting outside during the filming of that, so I wasn't. So I got to watch it after the fact. Like I said, I may not agree with all their techniques, but I certainly can't argue with their success. And good for them. Good for those young men. They go all over the planet. They see some really great places.
yeah.
Sure, they got a boatload of cash to afford them to do such thing. So who am I to crap on their style?
No, for sure. I'm not doing that at all. I love Sam and Kobe. But I just thought it was funny the whole time that he was like, I need a handcuff key. I was like, just go in the museum. There's like 7 of them sitting on the table right now.
That was one of the things. But you know what? Again, I can't crap on what their viewers want to see.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe I didn't have the right handcuff key. They're usually pretty universal, but that's another story for another day. Their content certainly 9 million views. They're doing something. Hey, I don't know about you, but I'd like Henry Lee to get 9 million views one day on one of these live feeds we do.
Me and you both, brother. Me and you both. But to get off the jail for a little bit, you wanted to talk about what's on your shirt, which I mean, and the paranormal field, that's kind of like the holy grail of museums right now. You know,
you could say what you want about Zach Baggins. I've heard the stories. We've had a lot of people come through. A lot of them say gifted. Hollywood changes everybody. But I will tell you one thing. Him being able to be doing paranormal for over 20 years now, he has accumulated a war chest and able to buy things to put in that museum that would make anybody envious. I mean, you probably know more that's in there, even though I went to it. But going in there and seeing the Crying Boy painting, the Kevorkian van, the Dybbuk box, the doll,
Ed Gein's cauldron, the doll, the demon house stairs,
that Mickey, what is that called? That one place that burned down?
Oh, Bobby Mackey's.
Bobby Mackey's had stuff from Bobby Mackey.
It just got torn down.
Oh, I heard it had a fire. That's why they tore it down.
Oh, did it? Oh, I didn't know that.
But he got one thing that really, really tripped my melon, besides that Kevorkian van, is 2 things. One of them is he actually has Charles Manson's ashes in a clear box, so you could see the ashes and the bones. Was tripped out on that. Had a little jail area there that he had set up in the museum. And he had an Al Capone room, Chris. And they had this rug on the floor, which we were walking on, which was actual Al Capone's rug. And he smoked cigars. And everywhere on this rug had little burn holes in it from his cigars. I would have that hanging on the wall, but they've got it on the floor. They've got, you think May Stringer's got a lot of stuff shoved into it. That Zach Baggins museum has so much stuff in it. It was a 2.5-hour tour. I suggest there's some pictures from it. That's the only place you can actually take pictures. That shows when Sam and Colby were there too. There it is. It's amazing, the dolls and the props and the artifacts he has in there. The Kevorkian van, it's mind-boggling. If you're ever in Vegas, you're into the paranormal, you're into the haunting. You don't even have to be an investigator. this is a place I would highly 5 stars. I paid $85 a person. We got the shirt, a VIP lanyard, full axe. There it is there. For the $85 versus I think it was 68. You wouldn't get the shirt. You didn't get to go all through the place like we had access to.
Yeah.
Definitely worth the money. I tell you, you could go there 100 times and not see everything.
That's crazy. Yeah, I can't wait to go. I've always wanted to go out there. I've actually
if you ever get out there, make it a point. Make it a point. Get there early. Earlier the better, because it's always got a line. We got there as soon as it opened. There was only like 12 of us that went through at that point, which was very. They burn these incense, sagewood, and different stuff very thick, where the smoke from it is just all around you and lofting around you. I think that's to protect the people that go in. But it was so pronounced that several hours later, Cheryl and I went to eat some dinner, and all we could taste was the incense or the
Santo wood.
Yeah, the protection stuff, the Dan burning was almost overwhelming. That would be the only thing I could complain about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clouds of it, almost like a fog machine. It was that much.
Wow.
Which Cheryl and I hypothesized that was to keep us safe.
Yeah. I mean, I have haunted dolls right here. So, I mean, I burn Santo and I have my crystal selenite over the door. So,
at the end, he has this chair that's actually made out of crystals. If you feel you need to cleanse yourself, you could sit in that crystal chair. It's an actual full-size chair like something we have at the Gilchrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great experience. I mean, it's a must-see. Price is right. The tour is long. You get your money's worth in there. You really do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like Cheryl said, 2.5 hours of tour. And the way they've got that 15,000 square foot house set up with little rooms and hallways and crawl throughs where you actually have to crawl through a little maze to get to the next room. Really well thought out. I don't have to wish him luck because but it just shows, he's done all this traveling, he's made this money, and he's put that money into that museum. And my hat's off to him as a museum owner ourselves. Doing a really great job with it. When we open up, we're going to have 4 different rooms. The sheriff house to the right, that's going to be our sheriff/police artifact room, where that one cage you just showed is. The room across the way is going to be our antique doll, antique toy room, where the small museum was set up in the back that you like. Yeah, that's going to be the sheriff room. We're going to make the room that's used to have all those artifacts in it the inmate room, where we'll have the pictures of the serial killers, the Bonnie and Clyde wanted poster, the Dillinger wanted poster, and then the communications room, which you know where that is, where the May Stringer table is and all. Keeping the gathering room pretty much what it is, a gathering room.
That's awesome. Now, I actually just found this out tonight. As many times as I've been there, I've never asked what was behind this door until tonight. And
what's behind door number 1?
I've never asked. I know it's there. And I didn't
Little
know.
Backstory on that room. That would be the intake bathroom where the inmates would go, I guess, to dress out, get out of the clothes, do whatever they have to do. But yeah, that's an actual bathroom. I don't know if I sent you the picture of what it actually looks like in there, but it has the original corner sink from 1928. It has a paper towel dispenser from 1928. And it has a towel rack from 1928. That's going to be obviously opened up and part of the tour itself. But no, never investigated it. So it's been full of stuff, kind of like Cell 1 was for years.
Yeah.
Cracked it open. It's been shut like that for years. Cracked it open because I put the extra windows and sinks and toilets and stuff like that, so they weren't just laying around. And there it is. Yeah, if you look up on the wall, that paper towel dispenser,
Yeah.
did some research on that. That's from 28. That little corner sink right there, if you bring it up, yeah, it still has its fixtures and all, and it's a very unique cast iron corner sink. And then that little towel rack's no big deal, but that is actually from the 20s as well.
That's awesome. It's got a bathroom and everything, or a toilet and everything in there?
The
Or?
toilet hole's there. The toilet is not, but the sink, like I said, what you see, got some still junk in it, but that'll be, I won't paint the walls or paint any of that. I'll keep that, like I said, I want to keep the jail things as original as possible, right down to its rust stains. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's, if you want to go to the Facebook page to see the inside of this jail, I got a QR code right here in the corner. You can hit the QR code and it goes right to the historical Gilchrist County page on Facebook.
Wow.
So
I didn't know we had one of those.
Yeah. It's a new thing for the streaming service.
Well, gee, that's really cool, Chris. I commend you. Maybe share that on the Gilchrist page. I know those are quite resourceful these days. It just looks like an ink blotter to me. I see a woman with big breasts when I look at that, but that's like an ink blot. So
is it a duck or is it a horse?
It really looks like a hippo,
But like I said, man, you guys are family. I love you guys. I love this jail. I've investigated it like 7 times now. I'm one of your biggest supporters.
You are. We appreciate that, because if we didn't have the support of paranormal investigators like yourself that are into history, willing to donate your time, willing to donate money, willing to do things like this to bring awareness to the jail, there's something, we're bringing something good, giving the paranormal investigators a good label instead of labels that have been put on people like yourself. This is a good thing that you're doing, and it really makes a difference to restoring and everyday operations of a place like this. It's very expensive. We appreciate the support.
And anytime, anything, I always tell you that anytime you ever need me, I'm right here for the jail.
And you have been.
Yes. So with the jail, with it being fixed up, fixing it, everything, do you have any plans of actually opening it? I know.
Yes.
Here and there.
Been doing. Of course, I've had plenty of time. March will be 5 years. We've been working on this project tireless. Been beaten down. Been excited. Been let down. Excited. Let down. I had to come to a place to where I had to step away from it for a good year and a half. You know that. Where I really didn't do anything. But we're in a place now to where I actually asked about a business license, looking into insuring after the renovations are done. Awesome. I should know within the next couple of days. I should have a piece of paper, and I'm going to kind of step out of the picture and just let the HVAC electricians and plumbers go in and talk to Gene, let them pull the permits. They know what they're doing versus myself. And I'll give Gene credit. He's always been a big supporter too, but it's like he said, until I stop putting the cart in front of the mule, nothing's going to get done. And he was right. I mean, the 5 years it took a lot to get it historically recognized, get the people of Gilchrist to change their minds about what the jail could be for commerce and historical significance of the town. I made a lot of mistakes myself, so I anticipate having a grand opening before the summer, late spring. When I say that, the jail will have lights, which the switch for the lights in the jail will be over there behind the monitoring station in the gathering room. So when the switch is turned off, it has no electric. There'll be AC in the sheriff house, heat, bathroom, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great on so many different levels. Casper Virtual will be up and running. We're working very diligently on that, so we can launch virtual ghost hunting around the same time as when we open. So very excited to lots of years of planning and patience and tears and anger and wouldn't change it. Like I said, it's a learning experience. Should write a book on it, but I'm basically a simpleton, so I'm not a writer. But it's been a, like the Grateful Dead would say, a long, strange trip. It's been, but I'm glad to see that it's finally coming to realization that it's going to be a lot like May Stringer, but without all those artifacts. I could never compete with May Stringer, but who knows?
I mean, you open it and people might show up and be like, "Here, I got these photos. I got this from."
I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping it's slow. It's going slow. But when I do retire, I'm going to be picking up more artifacts, and James will be running the jail. He'll be the face of Gilchrist, and he'll be doing these interviews with you. He'll be your turnkey, more or less. But it's going to all depend on, as far as Gilchrist history, for these families to rise up and say, "Hey, you know what? We'd like to contribute this to the jail." Of course, they'll be thank you for their donation with their family name, where these things came from, because that's the only way I'm going to get these historical things to actually, like that cage. Someone's seen it. He's like, I was going to scrap that, but there's something in me that said someone's going to really want this. So it's going to be contributions from people like that that museum that's been there 100 years at jail, it'll probably be there for the next couple 100 years for what we're doing, the restorations and all, and the recognition. So there's something to be said that, after Cheryl and I are gone, that jail's still going to be there as a museum, telling people about the history of Gilchrist County.
That's awesome.
I think so. We think so. We think it was worth our time. We think it was worth the battles, the triumphs, the setbacks. At the end of the day, it's all going to be very much worth it, I think.
For sure. Especially with all the other jails closing, the Hamilton jail closing. She's not really letting people in there anymore, so we have the Gilchrist now. I mean,
I've tied my own hands, making it historically recognized in the National Archives. It can never be torn down now. So if you believe in spirits, spirits are living there. We've pretty much initially have saved their place to where they dwell. So there's something to be said for that as well.
I mean, compared to what it was when you first got it to now, it's night and day.
It is night and day. It did lose a little of its mystique, but I would rather have it look the way it does now than having our first investigation there. When we first bought the jail for Arlene, she still had a couple people she needed to run through. We had people climbing over the fence, sneaking up, not knowing there was an investigation. People breaking into it before we got it. We're helping beautify the community and make it like a historical area. The city of Trenton now has control of the train station and is going to move forward on making that historically correct as well. Historically saved, get it recognized in the National Archives as well. So that's going to end up turning into a historical park, which we're very excited to be part of that. I'd like to think the efforts that Cheryl and I have made financially and mentally is really going to take Trenton, especially Trenton, and that being its first nationally recognized place, into the next step of their The town saving it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to get back up there. You know, I love you guys. Hopefully, end of February. Fingers crossed. I gotta do that. Some stuff with work, but hopefully, I can get up there. If not, midsummer, I'll deal with the heat again. If the jails
Well, the good
work.
thing is, in midsummer we'll have insurance. We'll have bathrooms. We'll have a business license. It'll be legit. I'll have air conditioning, so you get too hot in the jail, you can always take a break, go into the gathering area, have a drink, and sit there and watch the monitor. Like I said, we've put a lot of thought into everything, every step we've taken. We've put a lot of thought into it. Instead of just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, slapping it together, not making improvements, not putting money into the building, not getting historical artifacts. These are things that are making the Gilchrist County Jail much more appealing than it was. And look at how much activity and people have came over the past 20 years. It's going to be a much more desirable place to come and visit on many different reasons. So for historical tours, for the after-hour tours, for the investigating, it's going to bring commerce to a small town that desperately needs commerce. It's like I said, they're the best Floridians of all. They come and visit. They spend money at the gas stations on treats and gas and all, eat at the restaurants, and then they go home. So Little Trenton can stay Little Trenton instead of becoming another Gainesville.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love going to the Cherry Bar.
It's no longer there. It's called the American Patriot now.
Oh no, they took my Cherry Bar away.
They did. Bubba Q's is closed. Don't know the future of Bubba Q's either. So I'm glad that we're part of saving what little historical buildings that are still in that town, saving them for future generations. And so people could see what it was like, what correctional facility of the early 1900s was like versus correctional facilities of today.
Night and day.
Night and day, yeah. And it gives a good perspective to like, well, maybe the Lancaster Correctional Facility isn't quite as bad as we're making it out to be when, you hear the stories of the old Gilchrist County Jail. So,
yeah. But I want to thank you for coming on and talking to us, Henry. I appreciate always you and Cheryl. But hopefully I'll see you soon. If not the end of February, definitely grand opening for sure. I would never miss that.
Definitely. That's I'll know more as we move on. But yeah, we're very excited that we're going to actually be able to be an open business museum on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays by appointment only. If people are interested and want more information, they know to hit me up on Facebook. We start taking appointments there's a little skew thing there. We start setting these things up now, and it'll be legit and safe. That's the key thing, is this jail is going to be safe for visitors. Instead of, like you were saying, what it was 5 years ago, things falling in the roof on you. Lord knows everything else that was going on. Where things have changed, and it's not a creepy looking old jail on the outside anymore, but it's something the town could be proud of, and that's a good thing.
Awesome. If you're watching this later on and you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We love doing this show for you. Like Mr. Ballin
says, smash that like button. Give us a like, give us a shout out, share with your friends. This is the only way YouTubers like Christopher Cherry and historical museums like ourselves, get the word out. We're doing the right things.
For sure.
All right, well, you have a good night.
You too, man. I'm sure I'll talk to you within a couple days, like always.
Yeah, it was my pleasure to be on your show again. I'm looking forward to our next show.
Well, hopefully the next show will be the grand opening, and I'll be live for that.
Yes. All right. Well, with that said, y'all keep it paranormal and historical because they hold hands with each other. If it's a historical building, chances are it has some kind of residual energy, has some kind of spirits that want to tell their story.
And remember, always stay creepy. See you
Always
guys.
stay creepy.
Have
Have a good night, Chris. Thank you for having me.